It is the end of game week 22, and Manchester United remain in fifth, and I feel like every team dropped points. Arsenal dropped points. City got battered and dropped points. Villa dropped points. Liverpool dropped points to Burnley, and we won. Newcastle dropped points. Chelsea won though. Spurs dropped points. It feels like everyone dropped points but us, which is good because whenever all the teams around us drop points, we draw 1-1 to West Ham and also drop points. Can't beat a 10-man Everton side and also drop points. Can't beat Wolves, who lost 13 games in a row at home. And it's so frustrating that every time the teams around us drop points, we have not capitalised on that. And we're now up to fifth because we have capitalised on that. And the teams around us are dropping points, which is things I love to see. And my mouth is so dry right now, but I'm hoping the more I talk, the more it will go because I've left my glass of water in the other room. But Man United are fifth. We've got Arsenal next. I don't think we beat Arsenal. If it was at Old Trafford, I'd fancy us. We destroyed Man City. And if that game's at Old Trafford, I 100% think we win. Because the game is at the Emirates, they've battered Atletico at the Emirates, they've battered Bayern Munich at the Emirates. Arsenal are a different team at the Emirates. We haven't won at the Emirates since the Lingard moonwalk, if we're talking in the league. Was that the league, though? When did we last win at the Emirates in the league? I don't know. So, I don't know if we beat Arsenal. They look gettable, Arsenal. They weren't great versus Forest. They're tired. They've got more games than us. But if we do beat Arsenal, which would be madness. First of all, Carrick taking 2 games to win back-to-back Premier League games. When Amron took over a year to do that would be nuts. Doing it against first and second would be nuts. But being the first team to beat Arsenal at the Emirates would be nuts. Like, if we win against Arsenal, which is a big if, I don't think we do. Like, that would be a mad achievement. But we're probably in a very good position, considering that Liverpool seem to drop points every week and are still in fourth. Is it me? Or is this maybe the worst the Prem has been in terms of quality? Because how can Liverpool be this bad, have 4 draws in a row, and still be in fourth? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's nuts, the league right now. The relegated teams are all getting points this week. So if we can actually get a run of form, a run of wins, we could get top 4 this season. But is Carrick's squad enough? Is Carrick's squad enough to get top 4? Is Man City just a one-off? The biggest test is how the players do away from home, because I think a big reason behind that win at the Emirates was because Old Trafford was a fortress. I think the big reason why we won at the Emirates was because how good Old Trafford was. They were like the 12th man. If we get a draw versus Arsenal, I'm very happy with that. We gave Arsenal a run for their money first game of the season at home, but it's going to be 10 times harder away. It is just going to be 10 times harder away. I do just look at it and I think, but if we get a win versus Arsenal on 38 points, we don't know if these teams around us win, and we could be in the top 4. But yeah, unreal win. But the big boost for Arsenal is our new addition. He's back. He is back, and he's been mint AFCON. Commiserations on losing the final. I wanted Morocco to win AFCON because of Mazraoui, and then I saw the Senegal goal disallowed. I then saw the disastrous Senegal penalty decision, and I wanted Senegal to win, just because I felt that the ref was giving Morocco everything. So I'm sad for Mazraoui, because originally I did want Morocco to win once they made the final. But he has been great. And it's now been confirmed that Mazraoui is set to return for the game against Arsenal on January 25th. The club will give the Moroccan international a few days rest due to AFCON final, but he's scheduled for training next week. So it's now been pretty much said that, we've got Mazraoui back for Arsenal. And I said this, Mazraoui returning to play in a back 4 is going to be like a new signing for us. You cannot deny that. Like, Mazraoui was, before Ten Hag was sacked, if we're going the first 2 months of last season before Ten Hag was sacked, Senegal were the better team as well. Mazraoui was our player of the season for the first 2-3 months before Ten Hag was sacked. Hands down, the biggest bargain, the player of the season for the first 2-3 months before Ten Hag was sacked. He was playing right back in a back 4, sometimes left back. Amrin came in. Mazraoui played right centre-back for a fair chunk under Amrin, was mint. Absolutely fantastic at right centre-back. Mazraoui at right wing-back under Amrin was not great. Like, let's be honest. Mazraoui is a right-back, not a right wing-back. You can argue the same with Delo, but Mazraoui is better than Delo if you're looking at defensive security as a right-back. Michael Carrick has Mazraoui back. That, for me, is almost like a new signing. I mean, first of all, Delo, who we had a really good counter-attack, and he passes it off for a throw-on when all he needs to do is pass the ball to Ahmad. It was like a vantage to Manchester City when it didn't get sent off there. But I'm going to say this, Delo actually had a very good game defensively. After the first 10 minutes, Delo dealt with Doku very well on the yellow, but he was killing attacks. But Mazraoui will feel like a new signing. But is Mazraoui coming back enough for Michael Carrick to get top 4? Like, that is my question to you. Is Mazraoui coming back is going to feel like a new signing? It's going to feel like, great. So you take Dallo out and you put Mazraoui in at right back. That's brilliant. But do you think that's enough? I'm not going to say top 4, I'm going to say top 5. I keep saying top 4, but I think fifth will get Champions League football because of the amount of Premier League teams that are in Europe, although these Premier League teams aren't great at the moment. But is that enough? I still think we need to do more. I still think we need to look at a midfielder because I think if Bruno Maino and Casemiro are guaranteed to stay fit and that midfield three can start every game from now to the end of the season with no injuries, then I think we can get top 5. But the minute there's one injury in midfield, Agate comes in. No disrespect to Agate, I actually thought he was right the last few games, but he is a pressing trigger. He is a pressing trigger. And he's a player that could get caught out, and he's a player that they will target, and he is a liability. Agate's good in certain game states, and I think Agate is better when he plays with Casemiro and he can be more advanced, because Agate in the attacking half is an alright player. Agate, when he wins the ball back high in the attacking half, is a decent player. Agate, when he's picking the ball off the centre-back, that is where he's vulnerable. That is where teams get at him, and that is where he becomes a liability. And I think sometimes when he plays with Casemiro, he's better than when he would play with Maino, because he'd have to be the deep player with Maino. That's another thing about Agate. And we need someone that we feel could cover Casemiro in that 6 role, because I think Agate is better as an 8. I think Maino is better as an 8. We have got no Casemiro cover, and I think, and we saw the Brighton game, every game we've started without Casemiro has been atrocious. And I'm looking at a guy who is a former Man United player. He's got the Man United DNA, as everyone keeps making these awful jokes about Man United DNA because Amrin didn't have it. But what we saw on Saturday was Man United DNA. I don't get this Man United DNA, this Man United DNA. No, we saw the Man United DNA on Saturday. Domination, Now, James Garner has the Man United DNA. That was a bit of a joke. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, Everton are going to lose him on a free. He is not staying at Everton. I'm not saying he is as good as Elliot Anderson or he's as good as Belabor or he's as good as Wharton. He's not. We need to go all out for Elliot Anderson in the summer. We need to break the bank for Elliot Anderson in the summer. But James Garner knows the club. And James Garner's out of contract in summer. Everton don't want to lose him on the free. We could potentially get James Garner for £15 million. He was phenomenal versus Aston Villa. I mean, as much as I only watched about 50% of the game because I was falling asleep, but he was phenomenal. 90% pass accuracy, 73 total touches, 14 ball recoveries, 9 passes into the final third, 7 tackles attempted, 7 tackles won, 7 out of 7, 4 interceptions, 2 fouls run, most recoveries, tackles and interceptions on the pitch. James Garner has 29 defensive contributions against Aston Villa, the most of any player this season. He earns defensive contributions for a 7th consecutive game week. James Garner has been nuts defensively. And I've always said this with James Garner. He's not who I bring in to solve our midfield. I don't think he is the level of Elliot Anderson. I think Carlos Baleba has a high ceiling, and I don't think he's the level of Adam Wharton. And Adam Wharton's a very different player to him. But realistically, Elliot Anderson's going to Man City. We should break the bank in the summer for Elliot Anderson. I would put in a 60, 70 million bid for Elliot Anderson tomorrow if I was in charge of Man United and see if I can get him in January. Elliot Anderson's the guy you break the bank for. we go for him in the summer. You've got to remember, Agate is set to leave in the summer. Agate is set to leave in the summer. Casemiro is set to leave in the summer. Bruno could also go, meaning we need 3 midfielders. Now, 2 of the 3 midfielders should be 2 of Wharton, Anderson, Baleba. Let's say Anderson goes to Man City, Wharton and Baleba should be 2 of the 3 midfield signings we make. Brilliant. Baleba can be the 6. Wharton could be more advanced and bring creativity. But we will need a 3rd midfielder for depth. We will need cover for the number 6 role. James Garner is available on free in the summer, but more importantly, there's a belief you could get him for 15 million in January. If I'm Man United, I go, Casemiro gets injured, we're screwed. Bring in James Garner now. Push for top 4. If James Garner's 15 million and getting top 4 means we have nearly 100 million more to spend in the summer, I'm risking spending 15 million on James Garner, even if he flops, just to increase our chances of getting 100 million if we qualify for the Champions League. Financially, I'm doing it. And James Garner can back up Casemiro, push Casemiro till the end of the season. That means that if Agate comes on, he comes on in the main role where Agate will be less of a pressing trigger and less of a liability. Agate can go further up. And I think that would be better for Man United. Then, and Casemiro and Agate leave, and then you've got 1 midfielder already in, and then you just need to get 2 midfielders in the door in summer instead of 3. And I just think if he is 15 million, you might as well get him. And I feel like he would pick us. He might be annoyed that we sold him to Everton, but that was Ten Hag. But he was at the academy. He knows the clubs. He knows the players. I feel like he'd pick us. Alice going to be doing a whole lot of Spain on Sunday. I'm not going to lie. I think we could lose on Sunday. I think if it was at Old Trafford, I'd back us. But I think because it's at the Emirates, they'll beat us. I think they'll beat us because it's at the Emirates. Garner was better than Agate. I think that's a straight swap would also work. I agree. United parked the bus just staying out the whole game. It was a tactical setup. I don't think you could say we parked the bus. You can't. When you park the bus, you don't create 7 big chances in a game. When you park the bus, you have no intention to go forward. We were defensively compact. We let City dominate possession. But there's a difference between being defensively compact and letting them dominate possession and parking the bus. If we're parking the bus, we don't have Ahmad Bruno and Boomer and Dorgu making forward runs every time we get the ball. That's 4 players getting up the pitch. If we park the bus, we do what Ruben Amorim does every week. And when we go 1-0 up, we would take off an attacker and bring on another centre-back. Michael Carrick, when we're leading that game, instead of taking a Boomer for a centre-back, which is what Ruben Amorim would have done, Michael Carrick takes a Boomer for Cunha. Like, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say it's parking the bus. But yeah, Alice is normally level-headed, but Arsenal makes me lose that. Arsenal is that team. They wind me up. I can't back us to beat Arsenal at the Emirates because I can't remember the last time we've done that in the league. Parking the bus never means going out your own half. If they had parked the bus, then we would have had a much more pleasant game. Exactly. Alice, why are you so serious? I just think that we should do something in January. Just give him something. I would get Garner back anytime soon. He is that player that would not make a fuss, even coming from the bench. Garner can cover on the 2 and 3. He's very intelligent. He's also played right back a lot this season. He's versatile. He's intelligent. He works hard. He's growing. He had a slow start at Everton where they weren't sure about him, but this season I think he's really come into his own. And I think Moyes has had a big part to play in that. I think confidence as well. And also you've got to remember, like 2 years ago, Everton fans were doubting if James Garner was good enough. But 2 years ago, James Garner was, 21, 22? James Garner was 22 2 seasons ago when Arsenal fans were saying, not Arsenal fans, but Everton fans. When Everton fans were doubting if James Garner was good enough and had questions over him, he was 22. You know, I know 22 is when players start to develop. I always say this, 16, 17, 18, if you're going in on them, you're nuts. 16 to 20, if you're going in on them, you're absolutely nuts. You know, Darren Fletcher's kids are 18. He did look out of place, but that doesn't mean he'll be out of place in 5 years' time. He could be starting for us in 5 years' time with one of our best players. He might not. He might be in League 2. You don't know. And then I think 21, 22, 23, they're young. And I think that's when you really know if they're good enough for the Premier League. And then I think 24 onwards is when players push up and they prove their worth. And James Garner's turned 24 this season. It's been his big season. I think Elliot Anderson is now 24 or 25. Let me Google it. Elliot Anderson's 23. This has been his big season. It's sort of when they get to 23, 24, 25, they start to push on. 21, 22, they're a bit raw. 16 to 20, they're very raw, but I find that's when you know when players are good enough. And I think we're seeing that. Anderson is the dream signing as well. United fans always get humbled after the window closes. What City go buy another player and we'll do nothing? Alice, do you think Liverpool do anything? I can't believe Liverpool let Gay go to City. Apparently, City offered Gay 300 grand a week, which, if true, that's nuts for a centre back. Paul Joyce said on Liverpool, by the way, Liverpool hoped that Mark Gay would recognise the efforts that Liverpool have made to sign him before deadline day and wait till summer for them, rather than moving to City in January. Like, I'm shocked at Liverpool's mentality. Do you think Tottenham will sign anyone? They're looking at Curtis Jones. And Thomas Frank's on the brink of being sacked. Club chiefs are now weighing up whether to axe Thomas Frank before Tuesday's Champions League clash versus Dortmund, which means you've got to sack him in the morning. Thomas Frank could definitely be sacked. There was a meeting at Tottenham today. Oh, thanks for the super chat. Glazer's out, but seeing United play like that is exciting. I agree. Glazer's out. I honestly think, and I'm not saying this to exaggerate, but that is one of the best games we've had post Alex Ferguson yesterday. We beat Man City last season under Amorim. We beat Man City under Ten Hag. We've beat Man City under Ollie. But when have we beaten Man City to a level where it could have ended 6-0? Like, we've battered Man City under Ollie. We beat Man City under Amorim. We beat Man City under Ten Hag, and we deserve to win all those games. But in those games, City had chances, we had chances, but we never had this many chances, and we never conceded so little chances. Man City didn't have a shot on target. We created 6 big chances, and that doesn't include the 3 offsides, which were very narrow offsides, particularly the last one. We technically created 9 big chances in 90 versus Man City. That's a big chance every 10 minutes. We've not created that many big chances in a single game. We've also not gone a single game where we've conceded 0 shots on target. We've beaten Man City where we've beat them 2-1 or we've beat them 3-2, like the Pogba comeback under Mourinho. The Ollie wins at the Etihad. Ollie used to beat Man City all the time, the Ten Hag in the FA Cup final. But I don't think we've ever beaten Man City with that level of dominance. That wasn't just a win, you know? We won at Anfield earlier in the season, and that was a win. But that was a win where Cody Gakpo hit the crossbar about 3 times. We were pretty crap in the second half, but against the run of play, Maguire wins it. Do you know what I mean? And we won at Anfield, and that's brilliant. Perfect. But I can't remember the last time we won a game with this level of domination. Even the Brighton game, that was a fantastic win earlier in the season, but we conceded 2 and it felt like we were going to bottle it. I never felt like we were going to bottle this. You know, I mean, we've had some great games under so many different managers, but to play a big club and to dominate like this, I don't think the last time we've done that is when we put 6 past Tottenham under Ollie. The last time I feel like we've dominated a big game like that is when we put 6 past Tottenham under Ollie. This was a different level of domination. I'm not trying to get carried away, but yesterday was amazing. I mean, I've watched Match of the Day so many times. I don't know about you. I don't know how many times you've watched Match of the Day. Ironically, my favourite Manchester derby that we lost was the 14th of January 2013. United's first goal was controversial, but it was entertaining. Oh, that was the Ten Hag one where was someone offside interfering with play. That was a good derby, to be fair. My favourite Manchester derby, I don't know. Like, the FA Cup final was great because we needed that. Yes, I think yesterday's maybe one of my favourite Manchester derbies. I can't, like, my memory isn't great more than 10 years ago. Well, my memory isn't great pre about 2007. My memory isn't great about, because I'm born, I would have been 6. I'm trying to think best Manchester derbies. Was there one where Michael Owen scored a winner? I feel like we had a really good derby where Michael Owen scored a winner. That's got to be one of the best Manchester derbies. The Paul Pogba comeback. I call it the Paul Pogba comeback because Pogba had a blue streak in his hair. The Pogba game was an unreal derby. Yesterday was an unreal derby. There was one where I think Michael Owen got a winner, which was just unreal. I think that was a 4-3. We've had some unreal Manchester derbies, to be fair. We've also had some stinkers, like the 6-3, the 6-1. But the best derby was Owen's winner. Gaz has put that in there. That was an insane. I think in terms of domination, I feel like this is, I haven't seen us dominate City like this, but I think in terms of, that was a game. Wayne Rooney bicycle kit was unreal. Pogba coming back. There was a rumour that Pogba's coming back, but I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. Has he played much for Monaco? He came on for Monaco recently. But he's had a lot of injury issues, Pogba. He's played 3 matches for Monaco. He actually looked all right in like the 10 minutes he was on the pitch for Monaco, but they're just being very careful with his fitness. He's literally played like 30 minutes for Monaco and he's got a calf injury. He was actually all right in their game against PSG when he got like 5 minutes off the bench, you know. But I feel for Pogba. His just legs are broken. His legs are absolutely broken. But I wanted to talk about James Garner because he's available in January. Like, I don't know, people are like, you want us to sign everyone. I don't want us to sign everyone. There's a rumour that we're looking at Loftus-Cheek. I'd rather we not do anything than sign Loftus-Cheek. I don't want us to sign Loftus-Cheek. I don't want us to sign like McKennie. Yeah? Well, I would like us to sign a João Gomez or a James Garner because I think they could do a job covering Casemiro to the end of the season. Brahim Diaz has won Golden Boot as top scorer in AFCON, and I've never seen a guy look so sad when he's won an award. I mean, do you think he missed the penalty on purpose? I don't know if you guys watched AFCON, but do you think Brahim Diaz missed that penalty on purpose? I feel like he must have. I have to say, AFCON is. Do you know what? In terms of an entertainment factor, AFCON is my favourite because I feel like in the Premier League, you know, you get booked. Like Shea Lacey shows a bit of frustration, throws the ball on the floor, and he gets sent off. In the Premier League now, if you show passion, emotion, frustration, you get booked. There's no drama. It's too robotic. It's been too slowed down. They take it too seriously. Everyone is so defensively well trained and well coached. It's all taken so seriously. I feel like with AFCON, it's just passion. They just want to play. They just want to win. And I felt like AFCON was a breath of fresh air today. Like, there was the drama. I liked that they walked off the pitch. And Mane was like, no, get the F back on the pitch. I know this is corrupt, but we're going to win this game. You know, and then I liked that Senegal went and won it. Like, I feel like people that call football boring need to watch AFCON. People need to watch AFCON. I feel like it's too disrespected. Mane did so well in his last AFCON. I mean, I wanted Morocco to win because of Mazraoui, but then the decisions made it nuts. Apparently, Poch might replace Thomas Frank in the summer. It's interesting. But yeah, Senegal probably deserved to win. But AFCON, I like AFCON, you know. I like AFCON. 20 years ago, AFCON players used to beat up the refs. The fact that Brahim won Golden Boot Shambhala, well, he did score the most goals, but do you think he must have missed on purpose? I don't know. Like, why would you try Panenka it? I mean, maybe he felt bad that it wasn't a penalty, but at the same time, he looks gutted. I feel like if he missed on purpose, he wouldn't look that sad. I don't know. Like, maybe that's just me. I just, like, maybe he missed on purpose. He doesn't look like he missed on purpose with his emotions, but I'm like, I think a lot of people would have missed on purpose in that situation. I would not take Loftus-Cheek at Man United. I'd rather not sign anyone. If you think Gabriel and Saliba are the same as City backline are in for a shock, that's the thing. We beat Man City, we battered Man City, but Gabriel and Saliba are just different. The only thing about Arsenal is they look knackered. They play and get, like, we've got one game a week and Arsenal are going to be playing like their millionth game of the season. We have 40 games this season. Arsenal could have like 70 games this season. You've got the 38 Prem games. You've then got the 8 games in the Champions League. So that's 46. Carabao Cup 2 legs is 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. FA Cups 53. If they get into the knockout to the Champions League, which they will, Arsenal could be playing a mad amount of games this season. So the only thing I think we have over Arsenal is energy. And I think one amazing thing about the Manchester derby yesterday was the energy we came out with. I thought the energy we came out with was nuts, to be honest. If we can come out to the Emirates with that kind of energy, that will make it difficult for Arsenal. Gabriel and Saliba are nuts, but they have been gettable at times this season. There has been a few games where Arsenal conceded some goals and I'm like, oh. But yeah, it's a different level. To Max Delaney and Kusanov. They're much more experienced. Also, we've got to be careful from set pieces. We have to be really careful from set pieces. Alice, hopefully Gyökeres starts for Arsenal. That will help us. Do you think Sesko will play? Obviously, Sesko was gutted. He didn't even get on the pitch in the Man City game. Sesko scored 3 goals in the last 2 games and didn't get a minute on the pitch. Now, I'm not complaining about Sesko getting a minute on the pitch because we won the game so well. If we lost 1-0 to City and Sesko didn't get a minute on the pitch, I'd be saying, Michael Carrick, why didn't you bring Sesko on? Michael Carrick was bold. We didn't need to bring Sesko on. Do you think he plays versus Arsenal? Do you think Michael Carrick changes it up? I think one thing we like about Michael Carrick is he changes what we do a little bit game to game. Like when he was interim manager for them 3 games, he went with a different approach and a different style to each game. So there's a part of me that thinks we will do something very different versus Arsenal and maybe Sesko plays. But I want a Sesko top as well, but like Carrick made the right call and Mbumo scored a great goal. I think Mbumo is more clinical than Sesko. Sesko's really good at getting in position. Sesko's much better with his head. But I think Mbumo's maybe a little bit more clinical, and maybe that's what Carrick went for. Because the goals that Sesko's been scoring are nuts goals. They're not easy goals to score. But I feel like he had some easier chances and he didn't score. Yeah. Don't change the system yet, keep Mbumo up front. It's hard to change anyone. Like, Cunha did so well off the bench. You could argue maybe start Cunha, but then Mbumo scored his goal. This is the problem with Carrick has. Like, Cunha was unreal when he came on. Dorgu was unreal at left wing. Amma was unreal at right. Like, Amma, Dorgu, and Mbumo are all unreal, but you've got Sesko, Cunha, and Mount on the bench that all want to come on. Like what? And they were all good, you know. Well, Cunha was particularly fantastic Cunha was unbelievable when he came on. Cunha's been getting a lot of slander lately, but he came on. He won the ball back in our own half so many times, put in defensive shift, held the ball really well under pressure. Basically, got 2 assists. Cunha was unreal when he came on, by the way. I don't get the Cunha stick lately. I think he's a frustrating player, but he was trying to do it all himself because he had no one good to play with when Bruno was out, when Mbumo was out, when Amma was out. So it's like that's going to be a difficult decision for Michael Carrick to make. But look, I trust Carrick to make the right decision, you know. But listen, people, I am going to wrap up the live stream here. I just wanted to do a short live stream, basically just saying, look, Mazraoui is back for the Arsenal game. That's going to be a new signing. Dalot is the weak point in the team, and he comes in and replaces Dalot. That's going to be like a new signing. But is just Mazraoui coming back enough for Carrick to get Champions League football with, or should we be looking at James Garner? I think we should look at James Garner. If he's available, if he's cheap. I think if Casemiro gets injured or Bruno gets injured, our chances of getting top 4 are very, very slim. Anyway, people, thank you for watching today's live stream. I'll be back tomorrow. See you next time. Bye.